in this video, what is the #1 rule for content creation? Why is it so hard for YouTubers specifically to implement it? And what can you do to fix it? So what is the #1 rule for content creation? I'm asking you, what do you think it is? The #1 rule for content creation is don't be boring. You bloody fool, Oscar. I knew that. I'm not boring, aren't you? Are you sure? The thing is, YouTube is a straight up minefield for creators when it comes to not being boring. What I mean by that is that once we start learning the craft, we're told to do many different things. One of them is to always have a call to action. Now, I'm a big proponent of that, but the problem with almost all calls to action is that they are boring. Boring content is content that is A, predictable, B, irrelevant, or C, worst of all, both. And by the way, if you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe. You see how boring that is? And that is a problem. That is an example of one of the issues plaguing us as content creators trying not to be boring. We want a CTA, right? We want people to subscribe to our channel if they're interested in our content, that is. But just saying that means you're saying something, you're literally saying a sentence that every single person watching your video has heard 100, if not 1,000 times before. And that is per definition boring. Another example. Hi, I'm Asger Fallman. Welcome to my new channel about content creation. This is actually the second YouTube channel I'm running. I used to run a big crypto, or well, not that big, but pretty big crypto YouTube channel. But now I'm sort of trying to just stop, right? Stop. It is so boring, right? Yet I keep seeing people that make otherwise good content opening their videos with this kind of stuff. But it's not just opening strong, right? That's something many people stress is important. Yes, you have to open strong, but essentially, you don't even have to think about, oh, what can I say to open strong? If you stick to the #1 rule of content creation, just don't be boring. Now, sometimes I do catch myself being boring, but you know what? I fix it in editing. For instance, introducing what I'm about to say. Now I'm gonna sort of talk about this. Now we're going to go into this slightly other topic, but it's kind of related to the first one. No, stop, right? Just stop. It's boring. Just go directly into the other topic. And one of the problems with boring content is that it breaches the contract between you and the viewer that was sealed when they clicked your thumbnail. On some level, you make a promise when you create a thumbnail and a title. And that is a promise to the viewer that they're going to watch content that is about that which is described in the thumbnail and the title. This is especially annoying if you're looking for tangible advice on how to do something very specific, like how to schedule uploading a TikTok video, for instance. You don't want to hear someone's life story. This just happened to me the other day. How to design an irresistible thumbnail, for instance. I'm actually working on a video on that, so stay tuned for that, but that's a different story. Now, okay, but that is something very tangible, something that I've Googled myself many times. And one of the results that came up was a guy who started talking about, oh, hi guys, yeah, I realized it's been a long time. I just wanted to take a few minutes to tell you guys why I've been away from making YouTube videos. A lot of stuff has happened, guys, but I'm thinking about, stop, just stop, right? It's boring. And it's not just boring, it is stealing my time. Now, I've actually tried to make a good CTA myself. You want to use psychology to win the content creation game? Subscribe to this channel. Bell icon too. Everyone subscribing is a content creator, so you'll be an exquisite company. Back to reality. Did you like it? Maybe you didn't, but I'm sure you see the difference here, right? I'm still experimenting with these things. And granted, you don't have to be all fancy, but I do think it is worth entertaining the idea that just using a wording that is different from that of everyone else could give you an edge here. Okay, there's another challenge for not being boring for content creators, and that has to do with you, whatever type of content is you're doing, you probably want to maintain some veneer of professionalism. And if you constantly act like a dancing bear, if you will, you're a little foolish, you throw around jokes, that may compromise your professionalism in some sense. I think the key here is to understand that using humor in your videos doesn't actually have to compromise you as a serious content creator. I like to think at least I strive to do just that. But also just the realization that you don't have to be funny to be non-boring. Cue the sad music. Now, a couple years ago, I ran a big YouTube channel and I ended up destroying my own brand. It's true. I did. I did not go through the trouble of creating a strong enough, a focused enough version of my personal brand. And when I realized I can't keep living up to this fake version of myself that I created online, this fake persona, the whole thing crumbled right in front of my eyes. That is actually true, but that's a story for a different time. I was just trying to make the point that exciting and interesting content does not have to involve you doing gags or humor even. And it's also important just to interject here that if you're doing content in a very nerdy little niche, don't be afraid to really dwell on the details because people are there for that niche. So let's say you have a channel about Chihuahua grooming, right? In that case, dwelling on, is this the right clipper? Or I don't know anything about Chihuahuas, that's not my point. But I'm just saying, dwelling on the nerdy little details is fine as long as it belongs within your niche. But as soon as you start moving away from your topic in your niche and you talking about you and your day and, oh yeah, Monday I went out for a coffee with a friend and blah, blah, blah. If it's not related, at least indirectly, to the niche, to what attracted people to your video in the first place, it doesn't belong there. It will be deemed boring by them. And that is a piece of advice that I often hear that I really do subscribe to, because this points attention to the fact that your audience is key. You may not have any subscribers yet. I have very few subscribers on this channel as it is. It's about to change. But the content you create, or rather the topic or niche that you're in, should be focused. And because it's focused, you actually know the people who will subscribe to your channel. I know that content creators will subscribe to this channel. Or people who may want to use it as an auxiliary tool to boost their business presence online or something like that. But it will, at the end of the day, have to do with content creation. So as long as I stay on point in that domain, the content is not per definition boring. Doesn't mean I can't be boring, but at least it means that there's a good chance that someone watching it will find it interesting. Okay, so how do you fix being boring? So first of all, I just want to say you do need calls to action. Essentially, you don't know what video is going to blow up. Just think about this. If you had a video that all of a sudden got 100,000 views, 1 million views, and you forgot to say in that specific video, oh, subscribe to my channel, you're really leaving a lot of subscribers on the table. And that would be extremely sad. So I am all in favor of having CTAs in all your video content. And my advice here is really just simple. Experiment. You can do wacky CTAs like the one I showed you a minute ago, my subscribe CTA, or even better, I'm lending some inspiration from digital marketing here. Now in digital marketing, there's a concept called a text anchor. A text anchor is really just a little piece of text where a link appears organically. And organically is the keyword here. So let's say I'm talking about how to design a beautiful thumbnail. If I happen to have an affiliate deal with Canva or some other design app for thumbnails specifically, that would be a very obvious place to mention that, as opposed to bringing it up in a video about how to not be boring. That wouldn't make any sense. So being boring is being predictable. One thing I personally kind of struggle with a little bit is to ask people to comment. You've heard this one before, I'm sure. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you think. What do you think? Granted, sometimes they ask you that question because they want to know what you think, but many times, most of the time, 99 out of 100, they do so because they want to boost engagement rate. Is there anything wrong with that? No, but I do, on a personal level, just feel like it's a little disrespectful to people's intelligence. I want to assume the best of you because it takes guts and it takes a lot of certain personality traits to play the content creation game. But again, if you can make it organic, for instance, like I tried to do in this video, I would legitimately find it interesting to hear what you thought I would be talking about in this video when you saw the headline, the #1 rule for content creation. What did you think it was? Another simple but practical tip is, assuming you're using scripts for your videos, I would just suggest read through your script and ask yourself for each sentence and each paragraph, does this sentence need to be here? Does it drive the plot forward? The reason I asked this question is that I actually got this rule from screenwriting. Some of you will probably know that the #1 rule of screenwriting is don't be boring. Amazingly, when I started dabbling in screenwriting 4 or 5 years ago, I had not heard of this rule, and when I stumbled on it, my screenwriting completely changed. I even placed semi-finalist in a big contest here in Los Angeles. That's a story for another time, but I just want to say, just focusing on this very simple thing, don't be boring, can significantly change your content creation game. So when I was doing research for this video, I actually Googled the question, what is the #1 rule of content creation? And you know what came up? Consistency. Yeah, well, good luck being consistent posting your boring content, right? One of the challenges about not being boring is that what is interesting to us may not be interesting to other people. And one thing that is interesting to all of us, and by that I mean all of us content creators, is ourselves. And I'm not saying you're not an interesting person. I'm actually guessing you probably are, since you're dabbling in content creation. But I'm just saying people don't know you yet. And the reason they follow you initially is because of the promise you make to them in your thumbnail and your title about the specific content you're about to deliver to them. They don't know you yet, right? They will over time, but right now they're there for the content. And I do like the adage that people come to you for the content, but they stick around because of you. Anyways, hope to see you in the next one. If you're serious about content creation, check out my course. It is a full description of how to make a business out of video content. Link below, and I shall see you in the next one. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Thank you.